Hi, it's Mrs. Griffin, and in this lesson we're going to talk about right triangles. A right triangle is a triangle with one right angle. It looks like a corner. All of these are right triangles. They come in many different shapes and sizes, and they just need to have that one right angle. Now there's important sides, and they have important names. The first is the hypotenuse. It's the side that's opposite the right angle, and we always call that side C. To identify the hypotenuse, I like to think of my right angle that's marked by this little red box as an arrow pointing to the hypotenuse. So there's my hypotenuse. Remember, it's called side C. So there's my hypotenuse again. And my hypotenuse is over here and over here. And you can remember that it's always the longest side of your right triangle. It'll be longer than the other two sides. Now the other two sides are called the legs. They're the two sides that form the right angle, and we call them either A or B. It doesn't matter which one. You can call them either A or B. You can call this A and this B, and this A and this B, A and B, B and A. It's very important that the hypotenuse is side C. Now that brings us to a very important theorem called the Pythagorean theorem. And this theorem only works with right triangles. And that is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, or the square of one leg plus the square of the other leg is going to be equal to the square of the hypotenuse. And this is something you'll want to memorize. And now I'll show you how we'll use this. What we'll be doing is we'll be solving right triangles, and the way we do this is what you do is you first substitute in the known side lengths. So whether you know A, B, or C, you substitute in the two sides that you know. Then you'll square them, and then you'll need to isolate that side that you don't know, the unknown side. You'll do this either by adding or subtracting, and I'll show you more in our example in a moment. And then you'll need to find the square root, and that will tell you the missing side of your right triangle. So let's take a look. Find the missing sides of the following right triangles. Here's our right triangle. One leg is 3, one leg is 4, and we're missing our hypotenuse. So we're going to call that side C. And we'll call this A and this B. But again, it's interchangeable. This could be B and this could be A. Start by writing down the theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. It will help you memorize it. Next, we're going to substitute in for A and B because those are the two sides we know. So for A, we substitute in 3 squared. For B, we substitute in 4 squared, and we don't know C squared. Our next step is to square these. 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16, and we don't know C squared. We need to isolate this. It's already isolated, so we just need to add 9 plus 16, which is 25. So the hypotenuse squared is 25. And to find what C is, we take the square root of each side. Well, we know that 5 times 5 is 25, therefore C is 5 meters. And that's all there is to it. Now let's look at an example where we're missing one of the legs. This is how you would solve it missing the hypotenuse. And this is how we'll solve it when we're missing a leg. Again, write down the theorem to start off with. In this case, we've got A, which is 7 inches, and C, which is 12 inches. So we'll substitute in for those. So A is 7 inches, so we write 7 squared. We don't know B squared or B. And C squared is 12. C is 12, so 12 squared. Now we square everything. 7 squared is 7 times 7, which is 49. We don't know B. 12 times 12 is 144. Now we're trying to isolate this. In order to isolate that, we need to subtract 49 from each side. I'm going to let you finish this one up. Try to solve for B by finding the square root after you've subtracted. Click Continue when you're done, and we'll go over it. Welcome back. I hope that you found these will cancel out. You'll get B squared to be 144 minus 49, which is 95. Now that's not a perfect square, but we do need to find the square root to find out what B is. You can use your calculator by typing in 95 and then this button, the square root of x. That will tell you the square root of 95. You should get it to be 9.746 and so on. Usually you'll be rounding, so we'll round this to 9.7 inches. and that's our missing leg, 9.7 inches. So that's how you'll use the Pythagorean theorem in right triangles. If you're going to be looking for the hypotenuse, you add, and if you're going to be looking for one of the legs, you end up subtracting in the end. But you always square, substitute in square, and find the square root at the end. And remember to identify the hypotenuse. It's the longest side, and that little box in the right angle points across to it. So that's it. Great job. Good luck with the rest of your homework. And if you need more help with pre-algebra, please sign up for Nutshell Math, and I hope I'll see you there.